What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls coming up for y'all right around the corner. On today's show, Casey Johnson was on Stacey King's Gimme the Hot Sauce pod the other day and had some interesting intel about just how close the Bulls came to trading Ayo Dosunmu this offseason. Could he still be a likely trade candidate for a mid-season trade? We'll talk about that. Plus, Casey had some interesting thoughts on Nikola Vucevic, the vet center entering his final year of his contract. Is he going to stick around, or is he a trade candidate? And, assuming he does stay, what we want to see from Vooch this season. Next. Whoa! Whoa! What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow. Bow. BNWL Sports. Will the Go Gottlieb. Perfectly coiffed. Will_Gottlieb. Queen of the controls, the one and only Katie W. What up, Katie?
What just happened?
So many things.
I cleared my throat.
You're going to have to be more specific.
That was so loud.
I'm a loud person.
I think the people like 3 blocks away heard that.
No, I bothered also Steven and Emma back there looked at me and
Oh, they heard you?
They heard me
That's
as well.
not hard.
Through the plate glass?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It must not be double pane soundproof glass.
No, must not be. They didn't spring for that one.
Didn't
that, man.
Didn't spring for it.
No, didn't spring for it. But yeah, I'm a loud person, man. That's how it happens.
He's just warming up the pipes.
That's all. That's all it was.
We got a fresh season around the corner, Katie.
It was up in there. Had to get that up out of there. So y'all can hear the dulcet tones. That is this amazing voice.
Better out than in, I always say.
Shout out to you.
Wednesday, September 24th.
Yeah. Creeping
in. Less than a week away from Bulls Media Day. Less than a week from the Bulls' first practice of training camp.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
On today's show, let's dive into topic number 1.
Die.
Shout out to our guy, Mark Shanowski. Doing that hot sauce pod
My
with
man.
The one and only Stacey King.
I love Mark Shanowski.
Shanowski's the best.
That's
absolute
the
legend.
Bro. He's the man.
Good pal. Good pal.
He's dope.
They had Casey Johnson, Bulls beat for CHSN, on their pod just the other day. Talked about a whole myriad of things. Shanowski asked Casey if he thought that given the expiring year of Coby White's deal, he could reemerge as a name heard in trade discussions, trade rumors, leading up to that in-season trade deadline this upcoming season. And Casey did confirm, yes, he said, I do think you could hear Coby's name. He said, we've been talking about the crosshairs being on both him and Ayo dating to last season. And then Casey pivoted more specifically to Ayo Dosunmu, Katie, if you will, saying thus, I know for a fact that the Bulls were involved in some pretty advanced trade talks with Ayo this past offseason that they couldn't finalize. Whether or not they can get the right deal remains to be seen. And I should preface or emphasize in all of this, the Bulls love both Ayo and Coby. Like, love them was his emphasis. They fit exactly what they're trying to do. Casey went on to say that, quote, they are extremely valued internally, they being both Ayo and Coby. But as I mentioned before, good front offices get out in front of these situations and get value in return. Because I don't project both of those players to be on this 26-27 roster. It just doesn't work financially. So, Dave, first reaction / impression of, I mean, I think the headline there is the phrase pretty advanced trade talks. We had heard that Ayo's name was popping up in offseason trade rumors and trade discussions, but this feels like a step further than anything we've heard before.
Yeah. There is a huge difference between love and business. Oh, they can love, you can love someone, they love Ayo, they love Coby, but at the end of the day, you have to make the right business move for yourself. They love Josh Giddey. love him. The contract took a few months. You know what I mean? Because that's business. You know, it has nothing to do with how they feel about him. It has to do with the future of this franchise. Nobody can, unless you're a Uber star, no one can really be put ahead of the team like that. So,
dude, Luka got traded.
Yeah, Luka's gone. That's what I said. You know, and when I say Uber star, I'm talking about champions, MVPs, stuff like that. You know, not saying Luka isn't on the cusp.
I'm just helping make your point
star,
because anybody can get
he's
traded.
There. Anybody can get it. Is that? But in this situation, and I've made this very clear many a day, I love Ayo Dosunmu. I don't ever want to see Ayo Dosunmu go anywhere. I understand this though. I get it. He's now, in my opinion, the most valuable trade piece for the Bulls if they want to make a trade. It reminds me of Caruso in a lot of ways. We've gone over 1 million times, you know, what his value is and what he brings to every single team in the NBA. He brings value to all of them. He's in the final year of his deal. The Bulls don't know, you know, it's exactly how it's going to play out for him this season. So you can't know how much money he'll want and how much money he'll deserve because there's a difference. Again, Josh Giddey wanted $30 million. The Bulls is like, nah, we're going to give you this. So they could get out ahead of this. It doesn't shock me they were in advanced trade talks. I would have been upset if he got traded, but depending on what they got back, I would have been like, okay, I understand the business of this. I get the business of it. It makes all the sense in the world. So I think this is not going to be the last time, though. And I think I've come to grips with that. This won't be the last time. We've heard Ayo's name, in my opinion, more than anybody else's name when we're talking about trades this offseason. It's been about Ayo Dosunmu. So I don't think that's going to stop. I think it's going to intensify, and especially when we get to a trade deadline, if Ayo is still here and these teams are close to making postseason runs, and they're like, well, we this piece away, we need a defender, we need a glue guy, we need something like that. Bulls have that kind of player. So I think that these talks will continue to be intensified. You will continue to see Ayo Dosunmu's name out there. It just depends on, do the Bulls want to pull the trigger on it, or do they want to go into the offseason with the negotiation? So to answer your question, I'm not surprised by it. I don't like it because I love Ayo, but there's a huge difference between love and business, man.
What's your read on this, Goat?
I think that obviously I have a lot of respect for KC. Oftentimes I agree with him. I do disagree with him on this one. I think the piece about good front offices get ahead of it. I think if they were getting ahead of it, those guys would already be traded. This is not getting ahead of it. This is it's coming up on time where it's almost too late. Because now if you're trading these guys, teams are going to have to pay them, and that is going to cost you when you're talking about making trades. We saw this with Caruso, where they could have gotten more if they traded him the previous deadline. They waited until the offseason, and they couldn't get as much. We saw this with DeRozan, where they waited until he was a free agent. They did a sign and trade. They got Chris Duarte and
Legend. 2
second-round picks. Yeah, I don't think that they are ahead of this situation, but I also don't think they're in a bad spot with it, because I think that the idea that both those guys can't be Bulls long-term is also not true. There's plenty of money coming off the books next year where the Bulls can sign both of those guys. I think the bigger question is, how do you put a good team around them? And so maybe they end up moving them because they don't feel that they can. Mm-hmm. But if the question is is it Coby or Ayo? Can you have either of these guys? Josh Giddey's making $24 million next year.
Shout out.
That is 14.5% of the salary cap. That is basically the equivalent of it's slightly above the mid-level exception. Teams have multiple max contracts on their books. If you're willing to pay the tax, you can do that. If you're not willing to pay the tax, you can still have one or two of those guys, as long as you also have a couple of really good value deals, which the Bulls have in Modest Buzelis, which the Bulls will hopefully have in Noah Senge. So I don't really subscribe to that. I think that if they want to keep all those guys, they can. The question is more just from a roster construction standpoint, do you want to be investing so much in your backcourt, or do you have to spread that out a little bit? You just signed Trae Young. And maybe that's really what KC means, is you've got, I'm not Trae Young, Trae Jones. You've got Okoro now. You've got Giddey. You've got Kevin Huerter's there. If you bring Coby and Ayo back, that's like a lot of guards. And, it is a disproportionate amount of money compared to what you're spending on the front court in the backcourt. But maybe they let Herter walk. Maybe they let, Vooch. I mean, look, we've talked about it before. Like $150 million coming off the books. They're going to have $80 million in cap space. Keeping those guys is not going to be a problem. It's just how do you build around them?
Yeah, I think the part that Casey mentioned at the end about it just doesn't work financially, and that's why I don't see Coby and Ayo still being on this roster a year from now. It's like, no, the Bulls could.
Yeah.
Realistically, pay both Coby what he wants and Ayo. Not as much as Coby, probably not as much as Josh, but a sizable multi-year contract to stick around. If they do not just love them, but as you said, Dave, love and business are two different things. Love them and find the business means to keep them. Because, again, who else are they spending all that money on when all of that other money comes off their books?
Yeah. So do you think that going into, let's say, they play out and these guys get to the offseason with them, do you think it's more so about who's available that will decide if the Bulls keep both of them?
Well, that's okay. So you brought this question up a couple of days ago, which was like,
thank you.
Was it? I can't remember if it was the mini pod or a regular pod, but the question was like, is this the most important
Yes.
season for the Bulls?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, they can just bring everybody back, and they can sign Herter and Collins and all those like veteran type players to 1-year deals and kick the can down the road. But at a certain point, like, are you serious about winning or not?
No.
And if not, then, or if so, then you're going to have to like make decisions. You can't just like let everything come to you all the time. Sometimes that's the best mode. And that's the way I felt about this offseason. It was probably not wise to go out and make a really aggressive trade or a really aggressive free agent signing when you didn't know how much you were going to pay Giddey, when you don't know what you're going to do with Coby and Ayo, when you don't have a real answer as to how good a team built around those three actually can be. So next summer, when you have more information about that, and when you have a bunch of guys coming off the books, I think that is the right time to be aggressive. And I think that I would expect them to. I mean, this is the model that they showed when they first got here. It was evaluate the young players at midseason, trade for Vooch, try to accelerate, go to the playoffs. Didn't work out, but guess what? They came back that offseason. They signed Caruso to the mid-level exception. They signed and traded for Lonzo. They signed and traded for DeRozan. And then, they sent out some of their young players. That is how they put this first team together. And the reason why they were able to do it is because they had so much expiring salary. They were able to make use of their cap space. This is a cap space summer for them next year.
Yeah.
Like, this is the time to do that. Now, like I said, you can sign these guys to 1-year deals and kick the can down the road. And maybe that's what you want to do because Giannis and Jokic could be free agents that summer. But that's a dangerous game. And I think waiting on the next star to want to come to you is probably not the best way to play it. It'd be great if it worked out that way. But at a certain point, like, you have to make decisions that are best for you, not just like tread water until something materializes. And that's where I wonder, how serious are they about trying to, at some point, accelerate?
We got a bunch of Bulls fans chiming in the chat with their takes. Diesel11 saying, yes, if Ayo plays well, but the Bulls are not significantly better, he is definitely a trade candidate. JT Scott saying, I think it would be crazy to trade Ayo. I say let he and Coby finish their contracts, then keep him, trade Coby, whose value is higher since he's taking a jump offensively. Ayo is a do-it-all player. Let's see here. Sag saying, send my boy Ayo to a contender. The Bulls will definitely miss him when he's gone.
I will say on that topic, like, I'm sure we're going to talk about the Rockets here, so we may as well. Like, Ayo could be a great fit with them. We talked about Coby yesterday.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, much cheaper contract, more defensively oriented, can play on and off the ball, can space the floor, can defend at the point of attack. I think he'd be a great fit there if that was somebody that they wanted to bring in as sort of a stopgap for the year and then could still play next to Van Vliet, assuming he's healthy next year. That wouldn't cost them multiple first-round picks, right? So that's the kind of player that they could go after. I'm still believe that they could go after Coby, but I don't think this is a situation where it's like the Bulls have to get off of those guys right now because, one, I don't think they're at the peak of their value. I think that point is past. And two, I think it is possible to keep them. And if you can get them on team-friendly deals, then maybe you can make those decisions down the line.
We got to take a quick ad break right there. When we come back, we'll pick up this conversation where we left off. Some more thoughts on this latest intel from Casey on the likelihood of Ayo Dosunmu sticking around through the 25-26 season. Hit the like button while you listen to some ads. Today's show is brought to you by RC Cola. Let's be real for a second, everybody. The world has gone soft, Everybody gets a trophy for just showing up. The Bulls are celebrating their play-in tournament appearances. What is that for? Soda used to have some kick too. Now it's all just about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under the pressure. RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. They haven't changed their stripes since 1905 because RC Cola doesn't need to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Watch this.
Watch that punch. Pow, pow, pow.
Pow, my thirst has been punched.
Oh.
What are you waiting for? Stock up for all of your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or just watching the game at home this weekend. RC is the move for whatever you're doing. Grab some RC Cola.
You know what? Winter will be here before you know it.
Word.
Big man summer is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to need Four Seasons Heating, Cooling.com. That's the website. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric is what's on the truck. And when they pull up, oh, you know you in luck. Oh, I just rhymed all of that. At Four Seasons, we guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Celebrate! Save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month, and furnace AC combos start at $57 a month. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric have been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. They're your trusted local experts. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons, because for all the right reasons, Peck!
Call 866-4 Seasons. We roll along here, CHGO Bulls on Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for being with us. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Perfect opportunity. Now is your next perfect opportunity to hit that like button. A few other comments, and then we'll dive back into the conversation we've been having. Mike Grom asking, so what does Ayo get you back if you were to trade him? And then what does this front office get you back? LOL. Nick P., advanced, referring to Casey Johnson using the phrase advanced trade talks, probably just means AK answered a text. Least active, most stubborn front office in the league.
Oh, petty.
Well, and that's actually something that I did want to add to this point, which is like, there's a reason why we haven't seen a lot of trades. It's because the Bulls don't want to tank, and they don't really have the assets to go out or the flexibility to go out and get guys. So if you have guys that teams covet, typically it's like, you know, teams are selling off parts for picks. And if you're not interested in picks, you're interested in other players. Like, that's just a hard match. Like, teams, it's hard to trade a good player for a good player. Why is a good team sending out a good player in a trade?
Yeah.
They typically don't. It's usually about teams going up or down. And if the Bulls aren't willing to go down, it just reduces the amount of trade partners that they can negotiate with. And that's why the Rockets could be, you know, a good trade partner, because they have too many wings to really play. And the Bulls have a you know, excess of guards. So maybe there is something to be had there. I don't know exactly what the deal would be. They're probably going to want cap relief. And they probably wouldn't want to spend a ton of assets. But, like, yeah, there's guys on that roster I would for sure be looking at. Tari Easton and Reed Shepherd, the guys that we talked about yesterday, towards the top of that list. Obviously, you know, their star players like Amen Thompson and Şengün are going to be off the table. So I think that it's really a question of, like, are the Rockets willing to pay up to get one of the Bulls guys? Because we know that Arturas isn't going to let them go for cheap or for nothing. If he was willing to do that, I think a lot of these guys would have already been traded, but he wants to get good value back, and that's a good thing. So I don't know what the deal would be. I don't know if there is a good deal or if these teams are, like, in practice good trade partners, but theoretically, I do think that there are some pieces that you could, you know, see moving back and forward.
Okay.
I mean, Dave, what do you make of that? Because, and also, it wasn't in the part that we quoted, but Casey mentioned it 2 different times, talking about the front offices, the good front offices get ahead of these situations so you can get some value back. And the way he phrased it was like, hey, if you can knock this front office for something, and he said jokingly, you know, a lot of fans knock this front office for lots of things. But one thing that Casey said is valid is that they hold on to their assets too long. Those assets depreciate, and then they don't get solid return on those assets when they do finally trade them.
Yeah.
And the laundry list is right there.
Yeah.
Recent history, we all know that that is true.
In your face.
And a fair criticism. So, Dave, as somebody who loves Ayo and doesn't want to see him traded, but wants to see him stick around, like, would you have a hard time coming to grips with it if the return for Ayo, if they do find a midseason trade for him because they've decided they don't want to pay him on a new multi-year big money deal, is, another underwhelming AK trade return? Like, how much would that sway your opinion of being okay with Ayo being traded or not?
Wow, that's a solid question. It would absolutely sway my opinion, depending on what they get back for him. You can't they can't mess this up.
A different young player with experience on an expiring deal,
they can't mess this up, bro. If you're trading Ayo Dosunmu, you know the value of him. Basically, you can look at what you did with Alex Caruso, okay, and learn your lesson from what you did with Alex Caruso. Now, you can sit and say, I got what I really wanted. I got my guy Josh Giddey.
I don't think AK
That's
feels
cool
he
like
needs
that.
to learn a lesson on that.
I'm saying if you feel like that's an equal value on that, then okay. If you're telling me you can get somebody you feel is going to propel your team into the future, all right, because that's how they feel about Josh Giddey. They feel like he can help propel their team into the future, which is, you know what I mean? Like, well done. So I understand that. If they can do that and they have that belief, okay. If you're bringing me back something very similar or something less than a player for Ayo Dosunmu, because I have to remove picks from this because I haven't seen them trade for picks. So picks will make me feel a lot better, but I haven't seen them do that. So I'm trying to figure out the player who I'm like, okay, you give me that player back for a guy like Ayo Dosunmu, I understand that move right there. Okay, that makes all the sense in the world. But if I'm going to get that player, obviously he has to be younger. And they will be under a contract, either a year left where they feel like they can find him on a more manageable deal, or he's a guy who will have to gain experience. If he's a guy that's got to gain experience and learn it, I'm going to have an issue. You know what I mean? I'll be like, for what? Then why did you trade Ayo?
Dude, yeah.
We already got it right here. We got it at home. We don't need McDonald's. We got McDonald's at home. So it's
they
no
also
point.
have a long-standing list of young players who need developing in-house already.
So it doesn't. Yeah,
Hi, Noah Senge.
It wouldn't make any sense to me to do it that kind of way. Like, I just wouldn't get that point. But I'm not against them saying, hey, we're going to make a trade for him and trading him. I can come to terms with that. That's fine. Do I want to? I make no bones about not wanting to let him go. I don't want to let him go. I would love for him to be here with the Chicago Bulls. But again, love and business are two different things. I can easily come to grips with the fact that he will not finish his career here. I can come to grips with that. But you have to get it right is all I'm saying. You have to get this deal right and correct. You have to get back either equal or more value in a player for a guy like Ayo Dosunmu who has that kind of value around the league. If they're calling you, if teams are constantly calling you about one guy, a guy like Ayo Dosunmu, well, then that part you have to kind of play to a little bit more because that can give you slight of upper hand because you can look at your team and say, oh, well, you know what? We need this, and we need a guy who can do this. And then you can go ahead and make those trades to improve it as you see fit on that kind of level. So, yes, man, like they can't get this wrong, bro. If they're going to do it, and if they're going to be extra cautious, I'm fine with extra cautious. If you're saying that they were in advanced talks and they just didn't pull the trigger because they didn't, have it because they're being cautious about it, cool. Because once you say yes to it, it's going to be heard, as soon as by Bulls fans. And dudes like me who love Ayo Dosunmu, if I'm like, you're not getting this value back from this kind of player who does great for your team on and off the floor, then I'm going to be highly pissed.
Sag said he'll leave and win a championship just like AC. And
I would love that.
Sarcastic comment to you saying they can't get this wrong. Oh, they very much can get this wrong.
They can, but they can't, man.
Well,
they can't.
Unforgivable if they do. Go ahead, Goat.
I think part of the issue is exactly what Dave was just alluding to, which is the off-the-court piece. Like, inherently, if you are valuing a guy because of what he means to your city, he means more to you than he does to any other team, period. So if that's the case, how are you going to get value for that? So, like, I think the reason why teams were interested in Ayo probably last year is because he had 2 playoff runs left, making $7 million. Obviously, him being, a productive player on that cheap of a contract, guy you can play on and off the ball, a guy who defends, who can play multiple styles in transition, attack closeouts, do all this stuff. Like, he's a really good player. But now he's only got 1 year left. And I think that, as we've seen, decreases his value, right? Like, teams are not trying to give too long of contracts because they want flexibility, but they also don't want too short of contracts because then guys are flight risks. So they don't want to trade for a guy that they're going to see leave in a year. They don't want to have to pay a premium because I was a Chicagoan and the Bulls value that. So I just don't really see, like, I wonder what the advanced talks were and what the Bulls were valuing, because we haven't really seen, aside from like young productive players, which Ayo is, to your point, what they really want in a trade. And then I think the other thing is you have to consider what his next contract is going to be. Yeah. Is Ayo a $10 million a year type of player? If you can sign Ayo for 4 years, $40 million right now, like,
that's
I would
bargain.
I would do that. Stefan No, friend of the program,
what up, Steph?
has a salary projection model that he uses, and based on Ayo's numbers, I think these are accurate. 60 games played, 28 minutes per game. He had a minus 1.2 EPM, which is really not great. The advanced stats have never really loved him for whatever reason. He's worth $10 million a year. So that's less than his cap hold. So if you can get him on a deal that's less than his cap hold, lock it in. Yeah. Don't look back.
For real.
But if he wants $18, $20 million a year, you're not going to be able to, I mean, you could theoretically get up to that number in an extension, but it's more than his cap hold. So if you're trying to be a cap space team, you're just not going to go there yet. You're going to wait until next offseason so that you can go above the cap to re-sign him after you've made some other moves. But if that's if that's what he wants, and as this model is saying, that's $8 million a year of an overpay, then it is time to get off of that now. But think about the other team that would be taking him back. If they know that he wants $18 million and that's an $8 million overpay, why are they giving up a good young player or a draft pick plus a premium because the Bulls value him as a Chicagoan more than the Rockets would as a Houston team? I don't know that the Bulls are ever going to find the right price if that's how they do business.
And I don't know if that ultimate price, if they do trade him, will be substantial enough to make. I mean, like, we're all big fans of Ayo on this program.
For sure.
I think most Bulls fans are big Ayo fans and believers, knowing what he does on the court and what he means to the community off the court. If the return is, Joe Schmo player who has been underwhelming in the first 4 years of NBA career, also on an expiring deal, who, like, the Bulls are excited about giving a fresh start, and 0 picks, fans would riot.
Yeah.
If that was the trade.
Yeah, bro.
And you know what? That seems to me like the most likely trade if it were to happen
Joe Schmo.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chef Mac in the chat saying the fact that they tried to trade Ayo before P. Will is stupid. Okay, a couple of things there. We have also heard reports over the past year that even fresh off of his new contract, the Bulls were shopping Pat before the last season's trade deadline.
Yeah.
Any takers? He's only got $72 million left on his 4 year. No, Bueller? Okay. The reason that we keep hearing trade rumors about Ayo Dosunmu and or Coby White is that teams around the league want them.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm all for questioning this front office's intelligence and competence when it comes to their job performance.
Yeah.
I think they should be out skis. But when you're going to call them stupid, at least, bring a fair point to the table. I can't believe they tried to trade Ayo instead of trading. Who are you trading Patrick Williams to?
Yeah.
Teams are calling them about their players who are on cheap contracts that are good at basketball.
Yeah.
Pat is the opposite of both of those things right now.
And again,
I can't believe they can't trade Pat.
It's like saying, like, they weren't calling for Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? Like, the Bulls had to wait their turn to even, go do those kind of things. Sorry.
But again, that's where the timing comes in, right? You can't wait too long and you can't wait too early. If you have buyer's remorse and immediately you're trying to sell a guy, like, that signals something not great to the league. And I did want to just adjust those numbers because they were pretty far off. That was basically the year before. He played 75 games at 29 minutes per game, and a minus 1.2 EPM is a $13.4 million player.
Okay.
But last year, he played 46 games. He played 30 minutes per game and was a minus 2.6 EPM.
Oh, wow.
That's a minimum salary player. So I'm not saying I was a minimum salary player. I think, obviously, he shot the ball poorly to start the year.
Yeah.
He got hurt. I think minutes and health and, just playing a lot matters here, but I think that the idea of like Ayo becoming a $30 million or even a $20 million a year player, I just don't think that's going to happen.
Fair.
And so in that sense, circling back all the way to the top, like I don't think it's a real issue that they bring back both of those guys.
All right. With that, we will knock out a couple more ads. When we come back, we're going to dive into something else Casey said on that Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast about Vooch and the likelihood that he sticks around a little while longer. Trigger warning to all you Vooch haters out there. Hit the like during this ad break if you didn't do it yet.
Hit the like button.
Says Katie. Listen. Today's show is brought to you by Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear around. Start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need. Your logo, your brand, whatever you want. Snap it on any and all kinds of hats. And that's right, tees. They've got a partnership also with 40 different colleges, including 10 of those Big Ten schools, as a part of their campus collection. So if you're rooting on schools like Ohio State, Minnesota, Illinois, Illini, Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan State, Penn State, Purdue, or USC, they've got merch for you. So what are you waiting for? Head to brandedbills.com and use promo code BBCHGO to get 15% off your first order. Branded Bills, put it on your head.
Oh, my goodness. And guess what? You can give a big shout out to my man,
Ray.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And this is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, to score a great deal at the Drive into Fall sales event. Head over to the Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new vehicles from Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Right now, get $15,000 off MSRP or 0% financing for 72 months on 2025 models that are brand spanking new. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 with a friendly team of brand experts. The team at Ray CDJR is here to help you through every step of your car shopping journey. Go check out our partner today and shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories. Find a new vehicle for yourself. For more information, visit Ray CDJR on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com because they've been serving the community since 19. Hey!
I love how Dave says 63. It's unintelligible unless you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you all know what I'm talking about.
It's true.
This is a fact.
Good
effort.
Yeah,
You got to bring it from the soul.
From the soul.
Yeah.
After you clear the room for the soul.
No. I did that before I cleared.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the throat clear.
I did that first, and then you clear out everything, and then you get back to the dulcet tones and Katie being terrified of you when you do it. So that's how it goes.
Speaking of clearing out everything.
And Emma and Steven as well.
You know who hasn't been cleared out? Locker's still full of his personal belongings.
Just masterful. That was fantastic. I'm so proud of you.
They call me Segway Peck, Katie.
Segway Peck.
He didn't
Vooch.
need to finish. We all know where he was going.
Vooch has not been cleared out.
Oh.
He is still very much here. And his ongoing presence, Sag in the comments saying, Vooch still on my team in 2025 with a couple of broken heart emojis. Come on, really? That came up as well in Casey Johnson's chat with Shinowski and Stacey on the Gimme the Hot Sauce pod the other day. Casey had this to say about Vooch. Quote, I personally think it's going to be hard for them to trade Vooch because he's an expiring contract now. What team is going to give up a lot when they could probably sign him for pretty cheap on the open market next season? I think Vooch will get his wish eventually. I just don't think it'll happen this year. His wish being to play for a contending team. Casey added, I think in the 26-27 season, you'll see Vooch sign an unrestricted free agency to a smaller contract for a championship contending team. So to me, like, this totally checks out and tracks with everything that we have heard. Despite the whole, like, at the trade deadline, we laid some solid groundwork for maybe trading Vooch sometime down the road. What the heck is that? That's nothing. That means nothing. He is now entering an expiring year. He's a solid vet. He's reliable. You know what he's going to give you every night.
Oh, reliable.
But does any team out there need Vooch so desperately for their playoff run in 2026 that they can't wait until signing him on something close to a vet minimum that summer if they want him as a piece moving forward.
I mean, on paper, no. But we know nothing is, a straight line, in the NBA.
True.
There's something that's going to be broken. Something's going to happen. Guys are going to get hurt. Arguments are going to be had. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know.
Bowls of soup might be thrown.
You know what I'm saying? Shell companies might be paid. Like, things happen. You know what I mean? In the NBA.
Trees might be planted.
We don't know. You know what I mean? We just simply don't know how it's going to end up. So, yeah, on paper, the answer is a hard no. Like, absolutely not. Like, you're going to keep the guy, you're going to go. And sometimes things go with how it's on paper. Zach LaVine is the best example of that. We continue, you all, and I know you all continue to say, there's no way he's going to get traded like that. Are you kidding? That's not going to happen. And that's exactly how it did. Team said, wait, how much? No, we're going to wait. And they took their time. Then they got, to the point where they just had to make a deal. It could work out like that for Vooch, playing out with Vooch, but it's a different situation because he's still valuable here. You still kind of need his services here of a Nikola Vucevic, especially if you're telling me that you're trying to win. Like, why wouldn't I have a guy who's a winning player who can get me 18 and 10 and 4 assists and shoot 40%, close to 40% from the 3-point line? Yeah, I would want that on my team, any day, anytime. And he still looks great. Like, you saw what he did, when he was in the Eurobasket playing for Montenegro. So he still looks great. He's still valuable. Reliable is the best way, to kind of call him. Like, when you put your key in the engine, the car is going to start up no matter what. He is reliable. You're going to get those things. He's going to be out there 70-plus games. He's going to play that for you. So it's a great thing to have and a great salve for the Bulls to have is a guy like Vooch. But is it for now or is it for the future? Again, this is why I think this is probably the most important offseason for this team, or the most season, I should say, important season coming up for the Chicago Bulls, because all these questions have to be answered before they can do anything, before they can move forward with anything. And I think, Matt, they'll be looking and still trying to make calls and, doing their due diligence about Nikola Vucevic and seeing what teams are not, happy with their big man, or teams that they feel, they need some more roster help, or a team that's dealing with injuries with those guys. I mean, any of those things can happen. We saw Joel Embiid go down. It changed the entire trajectory of what Philly was trying to do. Imagine if they had a guy like Vooch and they could make that kind of move. It would have helped them a little bit more. But I'm looking forward to finding out. And I am not worried about Vooch. This is the one season. I'm really not concerned about Vooch and what he's going to bring to the table for the Chicago Bulls. I already know what he's going to do. But the question is, how much is the league looking into this?
I think it's really an issue of objectives. The Bulls want to be good.
Bing, bing, bing.
If a team wants to trade for Vooch, same deal with Ayo. Mm-hmm. They're going to give up expiring salary or bad salary. The Bulls are going to take on extra money so that they can get a pick back. Do the Bulls want to take on extra money? No. Do the Bulls want picks? No. So what trade is there to get done?
That's what I'm saying.
I really think it's that simple. Vooch, we're gonna get into.
If the Bulls are within striking distance of the play-in tournament, even maybe not within that bound as they come up to the trade deadline, but within striking distance of the play-in tournament,
like 2 games.
Yeah.
Back. Okay.
They ain't trading Vooch for 1 or 2 second-round picks.
Is there a world
this
where...
is not happening. They want to go to the play-in tournament again.
Is there a world where, DeAndre Ayton gets hurt and the Lakers offer you Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent, both expiring salaries, and they give you a second-round pick?
There's a world, yes.
Is that a good deal for the Bulls at this point?
I would take that deal.
Probably, because you at least get a second-round pick, and you don't have to take on any long-term money. But, are the Bulls going to be willing to forego their chance to be competitive in a play-in scenario by getting rid of their starting center and taking on 2 depth pieces? No.
Not going to matter how Vooch is playing, even if you're 2 games back of the play-in that you're trying to get to.
Well, if he's playing poorly, then nobody's trading for him.
Yeah,
And if
I
he's
mean,
playing
even if
well,
he's playing
then the Bulls
average.
aren't traded.
If
I'm
he's
saying
playing
if
well,
he's
then
playing
AK is going to sign him to a new multi-year contract a month later after they lose in the play-in
I'm
tournament.
just saying if he's average, not like last season where he was above that average, and not like his first season here where he was like, who are you? I'm talking about like if he's just an average player, but the Bulls are still basically 2 games back of that play-in.
Hold on, we need to back it up. You just said if he's playing well, the Bulls won't trade him. If he's playing poorly, nobody will trade for him. He's not getting traded. Like that's
Correct.
that's literally
That's
what
what
Will
he said.
Gottlieb
Correct.
just said. I just want to repeat what he just said,
Which
and
is why
what.
the
Yeah.
question came up for me like that when I
Like
said
I almost don't think it matters what happens because he's still
he's going
it's the
nowhere.
exact same thing with Ayo. He means more to the Bulls than he would to anybody else. And so when that is the case, you're never going to get fair value. And when you're never going to get fair value, you're just not going to make trades. And that is what's happened the last 4 years.
he's right about that. That's what they've done.
I think that is the giant elephant in the room. It's not hiding under any rugs. It's just staring us all right in the face.
And
when we
Yeah,
talk
but look,
about
the elephant in the
potential
eyes.
trades of certain pieces that the Bulls have right now, and it goes back to what Casey said in his chat with the hot sauce crew is like front offices not waiting too long, getting out in front of some of these difficult financial decisions and roster building decisions, and that is something that they have not done a good job of thus far. Should we anticipate it to go differently? And to your point from towards the beginning of this whole conversation, Goat, I think the ship has already sailed to, quote, get in front of these decisions for whether it be Coby, Ayo, Vooch, any and all players on these expiring deals that are some of their more prominent players. Because now you're talking about Ayo, maybe. Coby, you could probably still squeeze some value out of that. But a player like Vooch, the contributions he would make to their winning effort post All-Star break, post trade deadline, in a hypothetical play-in / playoff scenario is far more valuable to that organization and certainly to AK than matching expiring deals and a second-round pick in 2031. Like, I don't see any world in which that is not the case.
Correct. And this is also why, like I've been talking about lining up contracts a lot, the Bulls have cap space this upcoming offseason because they've lined everybody up. Because Herter, Collins, Javon Carter, all these guys come off the books, Coby, Ayo, like at the same time. That opens up a lot of space where you're able to make decisions. This is why the Vooch contract, when he signed it for 3 years, was like, why don't you try to line that up with DeRozan or Levine or Caruso? All those guys came off at different times, and it was like hard to like make any pivots when you still have all these guys layered on top of each other for multiple years. Yeah. And that's why like the Ayo and Coby deals, if they do sign them, is going to be really interesting because guess what? Giddey just signed for 4 years. So are you going to sign Coby and Ayo to 4-year deals? Then they're going to extend past Giddey. Are you going to only sign them to 3-year deals so that you can match them up? Well, then you're probably not getting as good a value. Or like if they do exceed that, then you lose value on the out years, which is what happened with these deals. They were great contracts, but they only signed them for 3 years, so you weren't able to really make use of them in the same way. So I think like these are lessons that the front office needs to learn. I'm curious to see if they will, because they've made these same mistakes before, and they've failed to adjust for them. And like the Vooch thing, you can say they tried to trade him last offseason. Last deadline. I don't really think there was much out there for him. And maybe somebody gets hurt and that changes. That could absolutely happen. But like that's why Casey said he's probably just going to sign somewhere as an unrestricted free agent. Like that to me tells the entire story of what we're trying to say here, which is that if the Bulls really were committed to getting anything for him and not losing him for nothing, they would do Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber and a second-round pick. But I just don't think that's the case. I think they're more concerned about trying to put together a competitive team in a year where there's 3 elites, draft prospects at the top. They just don't seem like they're willing to do that, which is what it is. Like I'm not going to spend another year lamenting that, but that is the situation. And so that's why losing him for nothing is, I think, the most likely outcome.
Sorry, I just when you said they signed Josh for 4 years, so are we going to sign Coby and Ayo and all these guys for 4 more years? Yeah, I blacked out.
I blacked out on the
I
draft
was
picks.
just,
But like, think about
the
it.
thought
I mean, like,
play-in 8-Pete entered my head, and I went limp.
think about like
2030, guys. That's the year that we finally make it out of that drasted play-in tournament.
This is why.
Peck is gonna be.
This is why.
Shattered.
This is why I felt like it should have been qualifying offer or 5-year deal for Giddey. Because if you're committed to playing with him and he's going to be your guy, then you want him long term. But this year is a transition year. Last year was a transition year, right? So let's say that the Bulls make the play-in and lose again this year, or make the playoffs, whatever. But then they make some real roster enhancements, changes, whatever, next offseason. That'll be like the roster moving forward. If Coby and Ayo aren't a part of that, now you're building moving forward with maybe it's those guys, maybe it's a star comes in, maybe it's just Giddey, Modest, and Noah, and that's the future, and you reorient around them. But then you've only got Giddey on a like smaller deal for 3 years when you could have had him for 4. So that's why I felt like, yeah, you maybe don't want to like make any long-term decisions in the sense of like 5-year timelines, but that would have made more sense to me because those guys would be lined up with Noah and Modest, and you'd be able to like get more value while those guys are on the rookie scale deal. So again, we've already seen them not learn that lesson.
Wait, could you repeat that again? You thought that Giddey should have done what?
Either the qualifying offer or a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
I just feel like these middle ground 3 or 4 year deals, like I get that teams are, angsty about giving too long contracts, but like that's how you get good value is when you get guys on cheap deals long term. And if you're not worried about trading him because he's too important a part of your future, then at least lock him in on a team friendly deal to where you can invest in other guys to put around him because that's really the goal, right?
Yeah, that is the goal.
Jojo in the chat saying Vooch is so slow-footed on a team that wants to run. Crying emoji. Look,
we're not doing Vooch slander on this.
This team wanted to run and did run last season.
He was not the issue.
Vooch was here last season, yes?
Yes, he was.
The Bulls were one of the most fast-paced teams in the league, possessions per 48, possessions per 100. They amped up their speed, and Vooch was right there.
Yes, he was.
Keeping pace.
Yes, he was.
He's another year older this year, so we'll see if that keeps up. But, he talked about enjoying it, getting some of that energy from the young guys to get out and run. Oh, and by the way, Vooch last year, Dave was pointing out just how sturdy he was. 18.5, 10, 3.5 dimes on 53, 40, 80 shooting splits.
You'll take that every day of your life.
But he can't be efficient on a team that wants to get out and run.
He was running.
Look, some of those possessions, he's the trailer at the top of the key.
Cash.
Sure. Maybe he's running not as fast or a step behind.
At trail 3, though.
That's what most bigs do.
Yeah. That's what centers do, man.
And unless you're, a 19 to 24-year-old center who's going to get out and run the floor like a Gafford or, Lively type.
Yeah.
That's not what Vooch is.
Those are special players.
But that doesn't mean you can't run the floor and play in a faster offense.
Absolutely
He is
right.
a professional athlete.
That's what he does, man.
They keep them bodies pretty well tuned.
Keep it tuned up.
So, to that end, assuming that we are all resigned to our collective fate and that we will see Vooch here in a Bulls jersey again for a full year to complete this contract if there are no takers on the trade market before the trade deadline.
What a year this about to
What
be.
do we want to see from Vooch this year? It's time to talk Vooch. Prove it, y'all.
Prove it time.
Look, he is coming off of, again, as I just stated some of those stats, a very good year.
Yeah.
Probably his best year as a Bull.
Yeah.
I have nothing left to ask of Vooch
Oh, okay.
as far as what I want to see on the court.
Okay.
We know what he can do. We know what he struggles with. It's the same piece of the Bulls puzzle, chessboard, shoots and ladders, whatever AK's working with. It's the same guy. And I would appreciate seeing that same guy out there again this season. So that is why, with my Prove It, I went a bit,
More general.
yeah, just, a bit of a metaphorical answer, a bit of a energy, not on court answer. I want Vooch to stay together for the kids.
As a child of divorce, I was really upset when you sent this to me this morning, and I just want to make that clear.
I'm sorry, I'm guessing you aren't aware that this is a reference.
To what?
This is the name of a Blink-182 song.
Of course I don't know that.
Did you get that, Dave?
She said, what's a Blink-182?
Come on now.
No,
Goat, did you pick up on that?
I
know the same.
know the song, but I didn't realize that it was a reference
Yeah,
to that
it's a
song.
Blink song. Come on, y'all. They were just here playing Riot Fest last weekend.
That's a reality, though.
Yeah, but
More than a
like
song.
that, like my thinking as a Bulls fan is like, look, Vooch was such a trooper last year.
Trooper-doop.
Some of his other veteran teammates, DeMar leaves, Zach gets traded away midseason, Caruso's gone. embrace the younger turn that AK is making with this roster. And Vooch, bless his heart, played his heart out. Left it all out there on the floor last season and was playing like quasi all-star caliber, putting all-star caliber numbers up.
Yeah.
Going into that trade deadline. There was some talk, and maybe the Warriors are interested, maybe the Lakers. Nothing happens. He ends up staying here. We saw a little bit of a dip after that trade deadline. Maybe he got a little cranky for like a week or two. Some of that could have also been that he was playing through that injury that ultimately actually cost him a handful of games. And then he came back and finished the season strong. I think it's a big ask of Vooch to just do that again this year.
Okay.
Like, Casey was referring to it as Vooch getting what he wants, or whatever his dream will come true. He will get his wish eventually. Referring to Vooch getting the hell up out of here, because he wants to play for what? A contender, which the Bulls are not. It's hard. Like, we've all known Vooch to be the ultimate professional.
Yeah.
Since his arrival in Chicago, I have no reason to expect that will change. But man, I feel bad for him asking of him to just be a good sport and keep that frame of mind positive for the sake of his younger teammates who are going out there and trying to win.
Yeah, I would feel you if there wasn't a $20 million thing being given to him for these things that you're asking him to do.
Sure.
But I completely understand where you're coming from. He is definitely the elder, you know what I'm saying, of the team.
Elder statesman.
He is the elder statesman of the guys. You know, he's like, hey, what is this, kids? You know, hey, young kids. So I get that, and you're absolutely right with that. And it's kind of making the best of a situation that he didn't think he would still be in. He clearly didn't think he would still be here after the trade deadline. This is just me, outside looking in on stuff. It didn't seem like he thought he would be here just by the way he was moving. But he's here. It's what it is. He's going to play out his contract. He seems, we talked about earlier when we did a show in his interview, how he talked about been speaking with, our tourists. We have a great relationship. Yeah, I wouldn't mind staying here at all. Well, it seems like that's going to absolutely be the case for him. So you want to make the best out of that situation for him, which is what my mentality was when I came up with my prove it for Nikola Vucevic. And it's pretty similar to what it was the previous season for Nikola Vucevic.
What?
So I want Nikola Vucevic to grab 680 rebounds.
Okay.
That's what I want.
How'd you come to that number?
I'm so glad you asked me this. That's what I wanted him to come to. So I had a number similar to this last year for him because I wanted him to move into the top 10 all time as far as rebounders for Chicago Bulls players.
You're talking Bulls franchise rebounders.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
That's crazy in just 5 years.
Yeah, in just 5 years. Yeah, Michael Jordan is the all-time leader, which is even more crazy, but not crazy at all.
Mike.
But I gave the number I gave last year based on the fact that I think he was going to still be here. Now I'm like, no, I think he's going to finish out the season. So if you look at Vooch, last year, 735 rebounds is what he had. The previous season, 801 rebounds is what he had. And before that, 903 rebounds is what he had.
82 games that year.
So first of all, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But also what you're noticing is it's going down like this. Still coming down. Still 10 rebounds a game, still going down. 680 comes because if he grabs 680 rebounds, it would put him at number 8 all time on the Bulls all-time rebounders over David Greenwood. Shout out to him. It would put him at 4,223 rebounds.
That's a lot of rebounds.
And that would put him at number 8. Right now, he is number 12. He's going to pass Taj Gibson. That's going to happen.
I don't know if I'm okay with that.
It's going to happen, bro.
Taji Woo?
Because Vooch is at 3,543. Taj is at 3,586. Vooch is going to get that in the first, few games. So, and then the next is Bob Love at 3,998. After that, it's Luol Deng with 4,078. And then it's David Greenwood. So I feel it's attainable if he's going to be the durable guy that he is, knowing how he grabs the rebounds and seeing how the trajectory of rebounds is happening for him, I think 680 is an attainable number to put him in the top 8 all time.
I love that because you look at the list. It's Michael, Tom Borwinkle, Scottie Pippen, Joakim Noah, Jerry Sloan, Artis Gilmore, and Horace Grant. Those are the top 7. Like that's Bulls royalty.
Legends.
Those are like, and Vooch is right up there. That's like pretty incredible. I think in the whole, like lost in this whole era of mediocrity is the fact that Vooch has been just a very high level, steady contributor. He has not been
balling.
Like MVP or Jokic, whatever. Right. Like he's been really solid for this team, and I don't think that goes.
The all-time leader in doubles for the Chicago Bulls.
All-time leader already.
In 3
already. If you just get one every night.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. Artis Gilmore is second.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Insane. It's absolute, but he's been outstanding, and it's a number I think that is achievable for him.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Will.
I guess mine kind of plays off of that. Mine was just that, like, prove that 24-25 Vooch was the real Vooch. Because to me, like, watching him, talking with him, seeing the way that he fit into that offense, like, I know we got the comment about he's a slow-footed center and the Bulls want to play fast. Like, he thrived in that Bulls offense last year.
Sure did.
He was trilling into open threes and hitting them at a 40% clip. He was attacking closeouts, getting downhill, finishing, making plays. He was not, like, stalling out the offense, asking for post touches. He was involved. He was keeping the ball moving side to side. He just had like a really reinvigorating season. He had the best shooting season of his Bulls tenure. He averaged 18.5 and 10, which is like his best number since 2020, 21. So just a really all around great season from him. Matt, you mentioned like his like attitude and being like a, you know, mentor and leader on this team.
Yeah.
I think it just felt like he was more comfortable and enjoyed himself more. And so I want to see, it's like less about the numbers and like proving he can be a 40% 3-point shooter again, because we know that he's been up and down, but like stylistically, can he play that type of basketball again and do it consistently? Because it was a real joy to watch him play.
Yeah, it was.
I like it. Queen Katie, what's your goal for Vooch this year?
I really struggled with this one, I'll be honest, because I couldn't decide, you know, do I want Vooch to prove something about him as a player? Do I want him to prove something about him as a member of the Bulls? Like, I really just couldn't decide. So in the end, I wanted him to prove something as a member of the team to help the organization. So I just wrote the word help.
Help!
I thought it was going to be an acronym or something. Like
no, just help. Because I just want him to take on more of that mentorship role.
I like it. No, David is an acronym. Hey, everyone, leave, please.
I was thinking, like, you know, Vooch is a veteran, he's a leader, but I personally, and, you know, I'm not in the locker room, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think of him as, like, a mentor necessarily. So, like, I just want to see him take on more of that role. I want to see him on the bench talking to guys, coaching them up. Like, I want to see him take on that role because he's not a spring chicken, you know? Like, he's been here for a while. Use your wisdom to help the young kids on this team and help, man, help. Yeah,
he kind of talked about that. First of all, that was awesome. But he kind of talked about that. Please help! When he was saying watching Modest, you know what I mean? And kind of, you know, side mentoring him a little bit, you know, like he was like when he would come off, you know, he would talk to him a little bit more. I remember it was a game where I noticed that when Modest went up for a dunk, Vooch was the first one out his seat. And that is rare for me to sit and see Vooch, who is always stoic, to be, you know, that into that. Like, Modest went up and he rose. I was like, oh, snap, Vooch got up. Like, you got Vooch out his seat. This is a great thing. So, yeah, I think that is dead on right there. Like, he has to pass the torch, you know, to these young guys, whether he's going to be here all season or not. We know the year is going to be up soon if he stays. So he's got to pass the torch and help kind of lay more of a foundation, you know, for these young guys.
Even like, I don't know what's going to happen. He could get traded. He could, you know, stay for the year and then walk in free agency. He could sign, like, he could come back to the Bulls and sign a smaller deal and be a part of it. But like, for me, going out on a high note is something that after Zach got traded, when you saw the way that he bounced back from the previous year, like, that felt good that he was able to like leave on a high note. And I hope that if Vooch leaves, maybe he doesn't, but like if he does, that he's able to do that as well.
Awesome stat here from Tom Skelton in the chat as we wrap up. Dave, you were talking about MJ and how high he is on the rebounding list all time for the Bulls.
Yes.
Tom Skelton pointing out that if Vooch manages to make 51 threes this season, he'll pass MJ for 6th all time.
That's crazy.
Bulls franchise history of made threes.
That's crazy.
You know what's actually crazy about
And he
that?
has, sorry, just real quick to finish out that stat, I just checked.
That's crazy.
In all of his full seasons with the Bulls, the fewest threes in a season Vooch has ever made was 92 when he had that really rough shooting year last year. He made 129 last season.
About to be top 5.
So, yeah, Vooch is going to pass MJ in made threes.
Shout out, man.
Our center.
Our center. Go ahead.
Yeah, how many is he going to hit this year? Like
100?
100?
Yeah,
about
probably around 100. He made 129 last year.
Yeah.
104 his first full season, 121, 92, and then 129.
What's crazy
So
is
nothing
that
under 90. Yeah.
what's crazy is that Michael is that high given the era. Like, I mean, obviously he
Volume
played
of
for a
attempts.
long time,
Yeah.
but like,
Impossible. I was told
Great.
you can't shoot threes.
We're going to have to.
Who else is on that list?
number 1, Zach LaVine. Number 2, Kirk Heinrich.
Thank you.
Okay.
All I heard
We
was
all-
number
we all-
1, and I blacked out.
We all knew what the purpose of that question was.
For Zach LaVine love, of course. Shout out Zach LaVine being number 1 all
It
time.
wasn't about
baby.
Kirk Heinrich
Kobe,
at all.
Shout out to Zach.
Kobe's less than 100 away
Where's
from
Ben
beating
Gordon on this list?
Ben Gordon, number 4.
There you go.
770.
Shout out BG.
Coming off the bench.
We got to get out of here.
Nikola
We are back
Vucevic.
tomorrow with another
All right.
fresh live episode for y'all at 4:30 Central Time. In the meantime, follow the GOAT, Will Gottlieb. Read his stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can read all of it. Lots of great stuff coming up, especially with Media Day. Got a player exclusive piece around the
It's
corner.
A few days.
Become a diehard now if you aren't already.
Wow.
Big Dave's Bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. The queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy, the biggest Kirk Heinrich fan in the universe.
It's not a
Right there with Tay Tay. Kirk, Tay Tay. Kirk, Tay Tay. Think about it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you, Red. Be good.
Help!
Booch!